Afternoon. Oh, we have a few remaining here. Good afternoon. I am Mayor Borowski, for all of you who I haven't met, and thank you for coming this evening. I now call the January 14th, 2025 City Council regular meeting to order. City Clerk Ben Lane, please conduct a roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Lisa Borowski.
Present.
Vice Mayor Barry Graham.
Present.
Council members Jan Dubakis.
Present.
Adam Quasman.
Present.
Kathy Littlefield.
Present.
Marianne McCallan.
Present.
And Solange Whitehead.
Present.
Acting City Manager Greg Caton.
Present.
City Attorney Sherry Scott.
Present.
City Treasurer Sonia Andrews.
Present.
Acting City Auditor Leigh Clough.
Present.
And the clerk is present. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Lane. We have Scottsdale, our esteemed Scottsdale Police and Fire here to protect us this evening. If anyone requires assistance, please let me know or let the clerk know. I'd like to have Councilwoman Solange Whitehead do the Pledge of Allegiance for us tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I'm sure many of you were at the swearing-in ceremony, and I'd like to ask if anyone has anything they want to add for inaugural remarks, and if not, we'll get right to business. Well, almost right to business. Anybody? Councilman Graham.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Very pleased to begin working with you. Very pleased. The event was remarkable and very enjoyable, and I just want to express my appreciation for my new colleagues, running for council, winning your seats, serving the council. I'm very much looking forward to working with Councilmember Dubowskis, Councilman Quasman, and Councilmember McCallan. So very congratulations on being here. And last but not least, of course, Madam Mayor Borowski, looking forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, pardon the misstep there. Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to have a point of privilege and call to the microphone or the podium Pastor Ryan Goebel from Scottsdale Bible to do the invocation.
Good evening. If you would like to, would you pray with me? Almighty God, we beseech you this evening for your grace and your mercy. Thank you that we live in a nation, in a state, in a city that affords us the freedom to gather and to speak and to have freedom to practice civil discourse. Would you let grace and mercy reign, let justice rain down, and more than anything, let us know that you love us and that you sacrifice for us, Lord God. Jesus, we call on you as the King of Kings to preside over this meeting today. It's in the name of Jesus Christ that we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Goebel. At this time, I'd like to hear from the acting city manager, now Greg Caton.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a short video for your viewing pleasure.
I'm Public Information Officer Kelsey Perry with 5 things happening around the city you need to know. At number 5, Parks and Recreation has a new plan in place to guide the future of play in Scottsdale. The Parks and Recreation Master Plan identifies key initiatives, policies, and implementation strategies to guide the department's projects and services over the next 10 years. The plan was approved by the Scottsdale City Council after nearly 2 years of research, planning, and a ton of collaboration with the community, including more than 300,000 resident interactions. To read the plan, visit scottsdaleaz.gov and search Parks and Recreation Master Plan. At number 4, Scottsdale firefighters now have a state-of-the-art place to train. The department just opened an upgraded training facility that features cutting-edge training structures, including a 5-story burn tower, a 3-story basic skills building, and a comprehensive outdoor skills area with props that help first responders prepare for a wide range of emergency scenarios. The first fire academy will take place at the new training center this month. Tom Hahn's training facility will also feature a brand new police training center. It is designed to support the city's own fire and police personnel, as well as first responders throughout the region. It was built largely with voter-approved bond financing and opens at a critical juncture for the Scottsdale Fire Department, as more than 1/3 of the department's workforce is eligible to retire in the next 5 years. At number 3, Scottsdale welcomes a new mayor and 3 new city council members this month. Mayor Lisa Borowski, Councilwoman Jan DeBoscus, Councilman Adam Quasman, and Councilwoman Mary Ann McAllen were all elected by the residents of Scottsdale to serve 4-year terms. Learn more about Scottsdale's elected leadership, review city council agendas, and learn how you can participate in your local government by heading to scottsdaleaz.gov and searching City Council. At number 2, some of Arizona's biggest events return to Scottsdale this month. Westworld is gearing up for the Barrett-Jackson Collector Car Auction, one of the largest in the world, from January 18th through the 26th, and for the Scottsdale Arabian Horse Show, which is celebrating its 70th anniversary from February 13th through the 23rd. And over at TPC Scottsdale, the greatest show on grass is back. The 2025 WM Phoenix Open returns in early February. The annual concert in the Coliseum, which takes place at the iconic 16th hole, will be on February 1st, and the golf tournament begins February 3rd. The event attracts hundreds of thousands of fans to Scottsdale each year. For tickets or to learn more about these events, visit westworldaz.com or wmphoenixopen.com. At number 1, saddle up in Old Town Scottsdale during Western Week from January 25th through February 2nd. Headlining Western Week, the Parada del Sol Historic Parade rides into town February 1st, featuring more than 100 colorful floats, mounted riders, horse-drawn carriages, school marching bands, and more. The parade is immediately followed by the Trails End Festival, with live music, food, and fun, including free entry to Scottsdale's Museum of the West. Also happening in Old Town on February 1st and 2nd, enjoy the Arizona Indian Festival, a cultural celebration hosted by and honoring Arizona's Indian community. It features an array of traditional arts and crafts, entertainment, and foods. Learn more and plan your Western Week fun at oldtownscottsdaleaz.com. That will do it for this edition of Fast 5. For more news and events, sign up for our city newsletters by heading to scottsdaleaz.gov and searching Newsletter.
Thank you, Mayor. That completes my report.
Thank you. Well done. Lots of exciting events coming up. We may recede to a possible executive session. This is a standard part of the meeting where we let you know that during tonight's meeting, the council may make a motion to recess into executive session to obtain legal advice on any applicable item on the agenda. If authorized by the council, approved by the council, the executive session will be held immediately and will not be open to the public. The public meeting will resume following the executive session. Public comment announcement. Public comment is reserved for Scottsdale citizens, business owners, and/or property owners to comment on non-agendized items that are within the council's jurisdiction only. No official council action can be taken on these items, and speakers are limited to 3 minutes to address the council. If you wish to speak on a non-agendized or agendized topic, please see the city clerk now and he can get you in the queue. We received 3 requests for non-agendized items for public comment. I'd like to call those individuals to the podium now, starting with, I'm going to read all 3 names so you can be prepared, starting with Stephen Sutton, followed by Dan Ishak, hope I'm saying that right, Dan, Patricia Badnock.
Steve Sutton, 6637 North 81st Street. Good evening and congratulations to the new mayor and council members. It is with regret that at this first meeting of the new council, I must give a disturbing report on the city manager's response letter to citizen petitions the former council accepted. The city manager's letter states a citizen petition of 605 signatures was presented. Of those, 477 signatures were from Scottsdale residents. I simultaneously submitted two different petitions, not one, the dog park designation sign petition of 501 signatures and the dog park etiquette sign petition of 489. All signatories prior to signing were asked to confirm Scottsdale residency. I doubt even 10% of the petition signatures are invalid. The city manager letter states traditionally park signs had guided owners to each enclosure based on behavior categories, passive and active. That is a parsing of the truth that omits the fact of 16 years of successful use of passive and active signs. The city manager's letter states in early 2023, staff responded to multiple residents' requests by updating the signs to reflect the dog's size instead of behavior. There is documentation of only one resident requesting sign changes. Staff claimed survey answers supported changing the signs, but do not have any documents proving that this occurred. Multiple public document requests support the conclusion that a single former Parks and Recreation Department employee decided to remove passive and active designation signs due to one resident request without any academic or scientific research supporting the need to do so, and without seeking comment from the hundreds of individuals who use the dog park almost every day. Additional problems with the city manager's letter are identified in the petition submitted tonight. Vice Mayor Barry Graham recently emailed residents he was renewing his commitment to put residents first in 2025. That starts with my pledge to work with our new mayor and 3 new members of the city council to ensure that your city government's priorities are more closely aligned with yours. This will be our chance to make city government more responsive to you and your family. I hope the entire council shares this sentiment and realizes a priority of Scottsdale residents is for city employees to provide factually accurate reports, not parse the truth to misinform and manipulate, or delay action on reasonable and simple requests. In conclusion, dog park users collaborated over 2 months creating the 4 new signs, 2 multi-hundred signature petitions, and extensively researched documents supporting our request for new signs. Dog park users are disgusted with disrespectful, incompetent, deny, delay, and defer behavior on the part of the city management, Parks and Recreation Department, and Commission. The expectation is they will continue to ignore and omit facts and spend months delaying a decision to defend their egos and bureaucratic power. I am petitioning the council to establish stringent oversight and a deadline of 2 months from today for city management's decision on installation of the requested signs. That is more than enough time to complete the research and public input since I've already done most of the work for the city. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Sutton, and thank you for being here tonight. I, for one, would like to learn more about that in the coming weeks. Thank you. Mr. Ishak.
Excuse me.
Dan Isaac, address on record, and don't worry, it's my father's fault. Nobody can pronounce my name. Mayor and council, congratulations to those newly elected to your positions. By some accounts, the victories were very impressive. Even more impressive is that for 2 of you, Ms. DeBoscus and Mr. Quasman, you didn't even wait until your swearing in before going back on a foundational promise of your campaigns. Ms. DeBoscus, perhaps you don't recall where at an LD meeting of the candidates, you said that you would not take money from developers and went even further to say that council members should not be allowed to take money from anyone expecting to have business before council. Yet you had a debt retirement party hosted by zoning attorneys and sponsored by some of the biggest business people in Scottsdale. And it was held in the Pedgman Art Gallery, which directly receives money from the city to promote its business and other art galleries. Not to mention Mr. Pedgman's pressure on developers to purchase his art in exchange to not lobby against them. Mr. Quasman, you recently followed suit with your debt retirement party. It's even more disturbing that your campaign debt was in fact your loans to your campaigns, so the amounts you raised went into your bank account with a brief stop in your campaign. Alas, we won't see the details of this for a while. Shameless is what comes to mind. What's more, most of this council repeatedly speaks about listening to residents. Yet you have exponentially expanded tonight's agenda with little notice and contrary to past practice or even a modicum of decorum, thereby depriving the vast majority of residents from being able to comment or attend to speak on the agenda items. None of the items are of an urgent nature, so why weren't they either included originally or added to the next meeting? We all know the answer to that. Again, shameless is what comes to mind. Perhaps in the spirit of decency, some should motion to table them until the next meeting. I look forward to future meetings where I will continue to point out hypocrisy, misstatements, and bad actions of the council. Again, congratulations on your victories. God help Scottsdale. By the way, Rod, when you write about this and more lies about me in your ragger on Twitter, have the courage to put your name to the comments instead of being an anonymous troll hiding in the shadows.
Mr. Isaac, that's inappropriate, I think, from the podium.
Thank you for pronouncing my name correctly. The prior mayor didn't for 4 years, so.
Thank you for being here tonight. Ms. Badnock, I know how to pronounce Patty's name.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Patty Badnock. Citywide security risks are on the minds of many who live here. Our police do not have the manpower to manage the number one priority of the city of Scottsdale, which is public safety. That determination is an essential part before decisions are made, not shoring them up after the fact. For example, the ability of SDRs to put many hotels throughout our neighborhoods, many of which are used as party house abuses, do not adhere to the rules because there is little ability to uphold the accountability. Must be intentional. The special police unit is just a token gesture. The height of the criminal drug offenses within the Bar District is out of control. The drug cartels, with their infighting among each other for territorial dominance, is frightening. Must be intentional. And with no noise ordinance, the Villa Monterey historic neighborhoods continue to be ignored. Must be intentional. These and other issues all have the practical knowingness of plain common sense to understand the downsides well before their abilities to take control, as any average intelligence can determine before these decisions are made in the first place. Therefore, it must be intentional. And so, finally, it is the expressed responsibility of the voting public at large to see that this newly elected body will represent the fundamental common sense practices and that we continue to select, fund, and support future leaderships that intend to uphold the city's most livable cities quotation or slogan, "We are supposed to be as noted." Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. We have one additional speaker, and that is the esteemed Paradise Valley Mayor, Greg Stanton. Mark Stanton. Oh my gosh, Mark. He's one of my good friends, so sorry. It's not Greg Stanton. After all, it's Mark Stanton.
Thank you, Mary. Welcome to call me Greg. That's fine. Good man, a longtime friend. Tonight, I just am representing two different organizations. First of all, thank you, Mayor, very much. And on behalf of the town of Paradise Valley and my town council partners, we just want to say congratulations and continued success for a wonderful community and great leadership. And we look forward to working with you and continue working together as municipalities that support each other, understand each other, and will continue to work for mutual success. So that's from the town of Paradise Valley. Now I'm going to change hats for a moment and speak to you as the CEO of the Scottsdale Area Chamber of Commerce. And from that standpoint, I wanted to say congratulations from the board of directors and the staff and the leadership from the Scottsdale Chamber. You've all been very active with the chamber in different regards, and we look forward to continuing that as we have with previous councils, and we are very supportive of your interest in and engagement with the business community and are chamber and this city is made up of small business owners all the way up to large corporate entities. And to know that you're aware and that you're interested and engaged means a lot to the chamber and a lot to the community. And just to let you know that the chamber is happy to work with you as partners on your engagement with the business community, and will always be there to listen and to partner where appropriate and make sure that the business voices are heard and supported for you and the council. So that's my comment. Thank you, and congratulations to everybody.
Thank you, Mayor Mark Stanton. We really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward, and on behalf of my colleagues, very much looking forward to working with you in Paradise Valley and, of course, the chamber. Thank you so much. Next, we turn to the approval of the minutes, and I think there's several that we need to approve. I'd like to call for a motion to approve the regular, actually we can do this all in one fell swoop unless anyone has an issue with that. Regular meeting and work study session meetings of November 19th, 24, special meeting minutes of November 22nd, 2024, regular meeting minutes of November 25th, 2024, and executive session meeting minutes of November 25th, 2024.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, respond with aye.
Or we can register.
Or register. It passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Tonight, as Mr. Isaac pointed out, we have several added items that were added after the agenda was published. That is items 14A, 14B, 14C, and I thought there was a 14D, and 17. I don't want to entertain a motion to add all of those items. I'd like to do those individually, and I will entertain a motion on first 14A. Let's see if we can find 14A, which is the Council Subcommittee on Community Safety. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of adding the Council Subcommittee on Community Safety agenda item, please register your vote. Passing unanimously, we will add that to the agenda. Next, we turn to 14B, repeal of the Scottsdale Community Sustainability Plan and establishing a sustainability task force. And I will entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, respond by registering your vote. By the majority, that item will be added to tonight's agenda. Next, we have 14C, amending the rules of council procedure, which I'll entertain a vote to add that to the agenda.
So moved.
And
Second.
That's item 511, by the way. Please register your vote. By the approval, oops, mine didn't register. By the approval of the majority, we will add that to the agenda. 14D, interim city manager appointment. I'll call for a motion to add that to tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of adding this item to tonight's agenda, please register your vote. By the majority, that item passes and will be added to the agenda. 17, let's see where, sorry. Oh, yes. there's number 17, agendize review and possible scope change for the planned roundabout at Scottsdale Road and Dynamite Boulevard for a future council meeting. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, register your vote. That item passes and will be added to the agenda. Thank you. Here we go. Next, we have the consent agenda items, 1 through 13. Does anyone on the dais have any questions on any of the consent agenda items or requests to move any of the consent agenda items to the regular agenda?
Madam Mayor,
Yes? Who's talking to me?
over here.
Oh, Vice Mayor Graham. Vice Mayor Graham.
Thank you. I just had a quick question. The Scottsdale, item number 9, Scottsdale Center for Performing Arts has been requested to continue. Do we have to pull that out of the consent agenda to do that?
I don't believe we do unless there's any correction from
Okay,
legal.
very good.
Anyone have any questions? Yes, Councilwoman Whitehead.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to point out, I'm not pulling any item, but on item 7, all of us are always worried about paths and making sure that any removal of right-of-ways don't impact our path system. So there is a removal of a right-of-way, item 7, but no paths are impacted, and the swap works out well for our path system. So I'm good with that one. Thank you. And thanks to staff for clarifying that for me.
Ben, do we have, excuse me, Clerk Lane, do we have any, no comments on the consent agenda items? Seeing no comments, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Yeah, I motion to approve consent agenda items 1 through 13.
Continued.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, please register your vote. Passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
This gets in the way.
Moving on to the regular agenda items, 14 through 14D, plus the additions we've made. Yes. First, we have item 14. I think our city treasurer is here to talk about that, perhaps,
Yes.
and you have a slideshow for us.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. This is the ordinance to establish the Budget Review Commission. Next slide. The Budget Review Commission will serve in an advisory capacity to the City Council for the purpose of reviewing and recommending the operating and capital budget, including reviewing major revenue forecasts, taxes, and fees, and also budget governing policies. The City Council remains fully responsible for the budget, assessment of taxes and fees, and setting policies. Next slide. The ordinance provides for the Budget Commission to be made up of 7 citizen members with financial, accounting, business, or government management background. Each council member will appoint 1 member. The mayor will appoint the member to serve as the chair, and the members will have 3-year terms. Next slide. And so the motion to establish the Budget Review Commission is on the slide, and I can answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. I don't have any questions. Does anyone have any? Oh, Councilwoman Whitehead.
I don't have any questions. I make a motion to adopt ordinance number 4660, amending Scottsdale Revised Code, Chapter 2, Article 5, by adding a new Division 17 to establish a Budget Review Commission.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please respond by registering your vote. And by unanimous vote, yay, this passes. I'm excited. Thank you. Moving on to 14A, the Council's Subcommittee on Community Safety. And this is, I don't think we have a presentation, but this is a council that will be of a subcommittee of the council, and 3 members will be appointed to serve for the benefit of all of our residents. And the focus of this committee will be on public safety, community safety, those are the same things, but just strengthening really what's going on in our city and making sure it's a clean, safe, enjoyable place to live. And I know that's very overarching, but I think there's some good work to be done here. And I'm looking forward to having the subcommittee become part of our regular day-to-day, or week-to-week, month-to-month. I'll entertain a motion if anyone does not, if you don't have questions, and if you do, please let me know. Vice Mayor Graham.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to comment on this. This was a great idea. Very excited about it, the potential for this subcommittee. And I think this was one of your campaign promises, and I think it's going to be very effective. As far as protecting our tourism, making sure people feel safe in their homes and as they go about the city. So I'm very excited about this. And I meant to comment on the prior item, which I won't belabor, but Budget Commission also, if I can just talk about that very briefly. You ran on that, others ran on that. I'm very excited about that. Budget discipline, looking at some of the cost overruns, and I think we should be very proud that we're setting this up, that up, and I'm just really looking forward to a lot of these. So thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
And with that, I will move to, let me get the resolution number. I will move to approve resolution number 13334.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please register your vote. And that is a unanimous yes. Thank you so much. Next, we turn to item 14B, repeal of the Scottsdale Community Sustainability Plan and establishing a sustainability task force. I know there's a presentation on this, I think only if there's questions. So I don't have any questions right now. Does anyone have any questions right now? With that, I know there's public comment, lots of public comment about this one. So I'm gonna, I think there are, well, it shows there are 32 people that want to speak on this. And you all are allowed 3 minutes apiece. I would personally love it if you could limit your comments to the main points. And we look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. And I will start with the first 3 so that you have your cue. Dr. Sonny Kirtley, followed by Natalie Chrisman Lazar, followed by now former Councilwoman Betty Janik.
Elmo, please. Good evening, council members. My name is Sonny Kirtley. I represent the Board of Directors of COGS, Coalition of Greater Scottsdale. Our address is on file as it has been for 16 years. Who are these people? If you, the new City Council majority, vote to appeal the approved sustainability plan, these are the volunteers that you are disrespecting. Who's missing from this list? Add the hundreds of Scottsdale residents who attended the many open houses over the 2 years that this group met. They provided constructive input to that final approved plan. Add the city staff who supported the final plan, who were away from their homes from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock for the meetings. They missed their family dinners and they missed their quiet time at home. This is not a positive way to begin your new terms on City Council by disrespecting the years of work of residents. If you have issues with the sustainability plan, amend it. Make some changes. Add your fiscal responsibility, your fiscal sustainability. But whatever group you put, if it's a new task force, we hope that you will respect their work. You are not respecting 2 years of work from all these people that are volunteers. This has a side effect. Why would anyone want to be on a board or commission if they're not respected? Thank you.
Thank you, Sonny. Next, Natalie Chrisman-Lazar.
Mayor Borowski and honorable council members, my name is Natalie Chrisman-Lazar, and I have lived at 7647 East Turquoise Avenue for over 20 years. I'm here tonight, like I was just last month, to support the Scottsdale Community Sustainability Plan as a professional civil engineer, former chair of the Scottsdale Environmental Advisory Commission, and a mother. I urge you to vote against the repeal of this plan. There are a myriad of reasons why you should vote against the repeal, but I want to spend my time on something that I think you, as elected representatives of our entire community, need to consider. Repeal of the plan undermines residents' voices and priorities. I can only hope that you are familiar with all of the work that was put into this plan to engage residents and incorporate their feedback over more than 3 years of effort. It includes 6 study sessions with City Council, study sessions and meetings. It includes regular agendized discussion at the Scottsdale Environmental Advisory Commission, a commission made up of council-appointed residents with a commitment to environmental stewardship. It includes agendized discussion by at least 2 other council-appointed resident commissions and 6 separate community workshops receiving input from the public. They also had a community survey. This is a myriad of wonderful public input. People have had more than 3 years to comment on this plan. It was finally approved in December. An overwhelming amount of public input was received that was positive, and these efforts were constructive. They resulted in a better plan. I understand that some of my fellow residents may be riled up to send you emails and say the plan curtails their personal liberties or has some hidden price tag that raises taxes inexplicably. It does not. Yes, it is an environmental sustainability plan that encourages residents to recycle, plant trees, and the like. However, it is in no way including mandates that have reductions in city services like trash pickup or rationing your water or your electricity, or the outsourcing of local decisions to the county. It doesn't subject your home or business to monitoring or auditing. It is a measured, community-focused roadmap that sets us on a path to leaving our community better than we found it. That's good for residents, that's good for business, and it should be good for a new city council. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Former Councilwoman Betty Janik.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Back again, my address is on record. I urge you to keep the sustainability plan alive. 2 years in a row, we've had record high temperatures that last longer and longer. We've had record high nighttime lows. The city doesn't cool off because it has become so hot during the day. We have drought. We have an increase in the number of high ozone days. I know we can make a difference. I know we can change the trajectory. The plan is an outline for all of us in the city and the citizens and the council on ways to live within a desert environment, and it is voluntary. I know you have concerns on the cost of the plan, as do I. I believe we all do. We're all concerned about the budget and how our money is spent. But council has the power of the purse. You have the power to say, I don't like this aspect. It seems too expensive. Let's go back and look it over. It is way more efficient to make edits to the current plan that has evolved over the course of 3 years with the input of hundreds of citizens rather than trash it. And Ms. Crispin-Lazar pointed that out. All the meetings, all the get-togethers, all the comments, all the opportunities for the naysayers to speak out. And I have found overwhelmingly with my years of service that the people who disagree wait until the last minute to weigh in after everybody else has listened to all the other comments. And I really don't like that approach to governance, not one bit. Many of the actions involve cost-saving measures. We can reduce the landfill refuse by increasing the number of people recycling, especially in apartment complexes. This provides the city a huge savings by stretching the life cycle of a very expensive landfill. We have been very successful in reducing per capita water consumption. Continue installing those leak detection sensors in homes. I want to know if I have a leak in my water. It's going to save me money. This is not rationing. And an email went out last night from somebody who should be more accurate in what they say, that this is not rationing. It is prudent use of limited resources when we live in the desert. This is a valuable service. Lower water consumption, lower water cost. We have to tackle the problem of extreme heat. Plant a tree. Many companies offer free trees, and we have volunteers willing to help us plant those trees. What could be a better solution? We will reap financial benefits after the first few years. Shade cools down your home, so you use less energy. Less energy means a lower electric bill. Lower energy use leads to burning less fossil fuels, which reduces greenhouse gases, which in turn lowers the air temperature, and the cycle continues. That is the beauty of science. Trees gobble up the greenhouse gas carbon dioxide, and they produce oxygen. New research shows that tree bark breaks down methane, which is a greenhouse gas 28 times more powerful than carbon dioxide. Again, cooler earth and cleaner air. Let's not wait any longer to plant those trees, fix the leaky faucets, and recycle. The true success rests with all of us in embracing a sustainable life, and council can lead the way by embracing this plan. The time to start is now, and the place to start is our great city of Scottsdale. I was at the inauguration. I heard what our new mayor said. She wants to engage the community in the next new movement. Certainly this falls into that category.
Thank
As
you,
always,
Betty.
I have data to back up every statement I have made. Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here tonight. I'm going to announce the next 4, 5, 6 speakers here, so you're ready to come to the podium. Ryan Johnson, Brandon Pileman, Herb Baum, Dan Isaac, Lila Yango, Dan Schwartz, and then Tara, I'm going to mess up, Langer, sorry. Thank you. We have Ryan Johnson. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mayor and Council. I'm Ryan Johnson. I am a 30-year resident of Scottsdale. I live on East Sorrel Lane in Stonegate community with my wife of 24 years and our 2 children. When we were here in this chamber a month ago, I don't think any of us thought that the plan that we passed would literally have a shorter shelf life than a carton of milk. Last month, 15 residents at this microphone spoke strongly in favor of the plan. 0 spoke in opposition. 0 residents spoke in opposition. At last summer's 2 public meetings about the plan that I attended, dozens of attendees, in those conversations, verbal comments, Post-it notes, I saw no opposition to the plan, no general opposition to the plan. So let me reiterate what's already been well established. There are no mandates. There are no requirements in the plan. Yes, there are aspirations to become more efficient with waste, with water, and with energy. You see, what we learned in the 2+ years and the countless hours of labor it took to build the plan is that sustainability for cities is just like sustainability for companies. It's about 3 things: reducing cost through efficiency, lowering risk, and generating revenue through improvement of our brand. If you're in favor of a less efficient city, I invite you to repeal. If you're opposed to reducing risks such as losing tourism dollars and conferences because our heat exceeds 110 degrees for 70 days each year, again, please vote to repeal. By the way, in the 1950s, we had 7 days per year above 110. This year, 70. And if you're against generating revenue by improving our city's brand and reputation with younger generations who care about these issues, please vote to repeal. If this vote to repeal and replace is successful, let's just be clear, the headlines won't mention the intention to replace. The headlines will be about how Scottsdale's new mayor and council have just repealed the city's first sustainability plan. That's the headline you're creating tomorrow. 2 weeks, almost to the day, before Waste Management opened at TPC, a $450 million economic engine is set to begin. 800,000 people at the largest zero-waste event in the world. It is literally a global showcase of sustainability at the TPC. This vote sends the wrong message to Waste Management, the sponsor, the Thunderbirds. It sends the wrong message to Scottsdale Princess, whose website says they have sustainability in their DNA. It sends the wrong message to Scottsdale's San Francisco Giants, who will be playing spring training ball a block from here in 2 months. The Giants have won Major League Baseball's Green Glove Award 10 times, the most sustainable baseball team in baseball. The vote to repeal is a reputation killer. It's a self-inflicted wound. It's an unforced error. Now you say, let's replace it. Okay, how many hours, how many dollars, how many years will that take? If you repeal, you'll miss the chance to tell your grandkids, yes, we planned for you, we were thinking ahead. Instead, you'll just have to say, yeah, we had a plan for sustaining Scottsdale briefly, but then somebody called it woke, so we got cold feet and we replaced it. Mayor and new council, welcome. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. If we can refrain from applause, I would really appreciate it. We're trying to get through these comments as quickly as possible. And if you could be positioned close to the podium when you're next, that would be great. Brandon Putman. Thank you. You're right there. Perfect.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Brandon Putman, 7536 East Virginia Avenue in South Scottsdale. Good evening, Mayor Borowski and members of the Scottsdale City Council. Congratulations on your recent inauguration held just hours before this meeting. This is an exciting new chapter for Scottsdale. As you step into your roles, you will face a steep learning curve on the intricacies of city government. With that in mind, I urge you to carefully consider the sustainability plan, not to repeal it outright on your first day, but to engage in meaningful discussions about how it can be improved to best serve our community. Repealing this plan now without fully understanding its implications would set the wrong tone and undermine the trust that residents have placed in you to lead with thoughtfulness and accountability. The sustainability plan is a result of 3 years of extensive work, research, public input, collaboration between staff, residents, and the previous council. Many residents have attended the meetings, provided feedback, shared their vision. To repeal the plan now would disregard those voices and values that have made Scottsdale a leader in conservation and innovation for decades. With your opportunity to select new members for the Environmental Advisory Commission, you have the chance to bring fresh perspectives to the table to make meaningful updates to the plan without discarding the progress that has already been made. Trees are an excellent example of how sustainability efforts can be both practical and impactful. As the most water-efficient green infrastructure available, trees provide unmatched benefits to the urban environment. Beyond shading sidewalks and streets, trees actively cool the air around them, reducing the urban heat island effect and improving public health. These are the kinds of considerations that the sustainability plan has accounted for, and this is the kind of smart planning that Scottsdale needs to remain livable as the climate continues to change. This plan already includes regular intervals for updates, providing this council with opportunities to refine its goals and targets in the future. Starting over by creating a new task force would not only waste valuable time and resources, but also delay the critical actions Scottsdale needs to address challenges like water conservation, extreme heat, and sustainable infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Putman. I apologize. We've reached 3 minutes, so.
Clock never
They didn't
started.
start the clock. Okay, sorry. I thought it started over. So do
Okay.
you want to, where was he? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. To the gallery, the galley.
Mayor Borowski, you emphasized sustainable infrastructure and restoring trust and accountability during the campaign. Supporting the sustainability plan is an excellent way to deliver on those promises. This plan is not a mandate or a burden. It's a guide to ensure that Scottsdale thrives while protecting our natural beauty and quality of life. It encourages smart, cost-effective actions without imposing penalties or unnecessary regulations. Finally, with those pressing challenges facing Scottsdale, we cannot let politics derail good public policy. Repealing this plan on your first day in office sends the wrong message to residents and wastes time that could be spent collaboratively to improve it. I urge you to take the time to learn the issues, engage in the community, and focus on refining the sustainability plan instead of repealing it. Thank you for your time, your leaderships, and your dedication to Scottsdale's future. I trust you will make the right decision that reflects the values and priorities of our city by not repealing the sustainability plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Putman. Next, Herb Baum, followed by Dan Isaac. And then we will have Lila Yango.
Dan Isaac, address on record. I'm not Herb. Mayor, one thing, thank you for your politeness and decorum here. It is a refreshing change from the prior administration. I will give you that.
Thank you.
I have spoken at most of the council meetings and the work study sessions about the sustainability plan, which was passed last year. After more than 2 years of work, multiple input and information sharing sessions with residents, several council meetings and work study sessions. I generally supported the plan, but provided significant input on things that should be changed or could be better. Some were made, others were not, but I was pleased when the council passed it. Moreover, hundreds of emails in support of the plan were sent at the last meeting, and to the best of my knowledge, not a single one against it. And you already heard that of all the public comments, all of them were in favor, none of them were against it. Last summer, I was greatly disturbed by the misstatements by Mr. Graham and Mr. and Mrs. Littlefield. Statements that they will probably repeat tonight, even though they are false. There are no mandates in the plan. There are no fines or penalties in the plan. There are no proposed fee increases in the plan. In fact, the plan does not make a single change to the rules, the regulations, or the ordinances of the City of Scottsdale. None of those can happen without action by the council. And I challenge anyone to prove that statement to be false. So why does the council want to repeal the plan? I agree it needs modifications, but why repeal it? Oh, that's right. It's a payback to the fringe groups that the Littlefields whipped into a frenzy with their emails. Lies sent out despite Kathy's sitting through the multiple council meetings and work study sessions, where she urged the more aggressive seek goals than what was proposed by the staff. She supported it being brought to the council to vote. It's all on video. It's all matter of public record. But then last summer, Kathy read a prepared statement that was pure fiction because a faction of Scottsdale realized it could be a wedge issue in the election, and it was. Instead of doing the right thing, we have political pandering to repeal it and to spend more of the city's time and money to make a new one. Stop the nonsense. Do your jobs. You claim you want to listen to residents, but you are ignoring all of the data from hundreds of residents that supported this plan. Those who have spoken in favor dwarf the opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. Right on time, Mr. Isaac. I very much appreciate that. Lila Yango. I don't see, oh, there she is. Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Lila Yango, and my address is 11281 East Eltonbury Drive. Scottsdale City Council. I'm a junior at Desert Mountain High School, and I've lived in Scottsdale my whole life. I'm here today to ask you not to repeal the sustainability plan. Nothing could be more important and more hopeful than a plan to address the heat, the pollution, the drought that endangers health and happiness. Unfortunately, my friends couldn't be here today because of the very short notice of this being on the agenda, but they all tell me how important having clean air and not insane temperatures is for them. We all just want a beautiful place to live in peace with what has given us so much, nature. Also, unfortunately, when I talk with my friends or classmates, we all become more unsurprised with the worsening environmental crisis we find ourselves in. When I told them that our new city council is trying to repeal the sustainability plan that we just passed, it just made us sadder, but we were not surprised. So I'm here today representing all the youth that want a government that protects us and nature and our happiness. We don't want a city government that goes behind our backs and repeals a plan that could only do this city good. What we want is to stop walking on the school bridge each day and seeing the haze of pollution on the horizon. I'm a student athlete, I run, and I know that this pollution is fatal to runners with asthma. So what are you going to do about this? Each of you has the choice right now to change your belief that nature is separate from people, because we aren't. Imagine if you couldn't go outside one day because the heat is so bad or the pollution is so bad. I wouldn't live another day, and I'm serious. So please, please surprise us today by keeping the sustainability plan and doing more in the future to protect nature. We're depending on your courage today. Thank you.
Thank you. If you would hold the applause, if we could hold the applause. Let's hold the applause, please. Thank you. Layla, I wanted to say a word to her before she walked away. I appreciate you being here. You're youth. You're probably the same age as my daughter, so I really appreciate that. Next up, we have Dan Schwartz.
Dan Schwartz, resident of South Scottsdale, living close to the Old Town Heat Island. I've lived there since in a 1963 ranch house. since 2004. Since we moved there, we've slowly evolved it to be more sustainable. We started by using city incentives to remove grass and to add trees. The finishing touch of this evolution is we recently replaced our swimming pool with a zero-escape oasis. The resulting removal of concrete and addition in tree canopy has been to make our property more serene and cooler, something I'm sure we all aspire to with our homes. The 7 citizen volunteers of the Scottsdale Environmental Commission, city staff, and the Outdoor Council have done an outstanding job providing a comprehensive view as to why doing nothing to respond to climate change is not an option. Like it or not, it's happening. Some of you have chosen to respond to their work by labeling it as a Green New Deal and propagated mistruths about its impact on homeowners instead of detailing specific concerns with the goals and proposing changes. I guess we all do what we have to do to win elections, but now it's time to lead. Effective governance doesn't rely on slogans and mistruths. Instead, it endeavors to improve the lives of all citizens through action. If you pass Resolution 13335, you're choosing to do nothing to protect Scottsdale's future. As an alternative, I would like to encourage the council to work for the citizens by beginning to measure progress against the sustainability goals and to come up with a specific handful of action plans. Do you really think the citizens of Scottsdale are in favor of hotter streets and dirtier air? If you choose to act, I, for one, and most of the speakers here will step forward to support your action and help in any way we can. We should all be looking over our shoulders at the Pacific Palisades and wondering where our Achilles heel is and deciding what we can do to make our city more sustainable and resilient, not bickering over ideology. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schwartz. Thank you for those of you that respected the request to refrain from applause. I appreciate that. Next we have, I'm going to say 5 more names. Tara Lininger, I know Kathy knows how to say this name, excuse me. Langer, is she here?
Langer.
I'm sorry if I'm butchering. Langer. Is that you? You're up. Thank you.
Langer.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Borowski and members of the City Council for affording me this opportunity to speak before you. My name is Tara Iyengar. I live at 12089 East Poinsettia Drive. I'm also a current member of SEEK and a medical oncologist. I spoke less than a month ago in support of the sustainability plan, and I still have the same thoughts and feelings that support this plan moving forward. You asked for brevity and succinctness, and I will honor that request, Mayor. Put simply, a sustainability plan is a health plan. I think you'll be hard-pressed to find a physician that would tell you that environment does not play a factor in the health issues that our patients face. This plan is a guideline. I will echo the sentiments of the speakers before me in that this is not a mandate, it is a guideline. As a physician, I'm well aware of what a guideline is, and in our world, a guideline is a fluid contract. It is not set in stone. It is meant to be a conversation and a dialogue, and it is meant to serve as a benchmark, but is not the be-all and end-all of what we do in the best interest of our patients. This plan will do the same, and so I strongly urge you to move forward and work on this plan and not to repeal it. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. I appreciate it. The next several people, Aaron Nicoletti, Lee Koftel, Saban, you all are testing me, Saban Ultra Power, and Alexandria Craig, followed by Michael Craig. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erin Nicoletti. I live on Rose Circle Drive in Scottsdale. I've been in Scottsdale about 14 years and in Arizona for 20 years now. I'm here to voice my opposition to repealing the sustainability plan for many reasons that have already been brought up. But my number one issue here is the lack of citizen input. This morning, I heard Mayor Borowski speaking on KJZZ's The Show. She stated that the election was a referendum on 3 major issues, not least of which was, quote, residents did not feel like they were being included in the process. They were not being listened to and being disregarded and in some cases entirely dismissed in city decisions. And that bringing citizens back into city government in Scottsdale is a big issue. If this council officially took office January 1st, it has been here for exactly 2 weeks today. Mayor Borowski has been here since today. The inauguration was today. But already there's a plan to repeal the sustainability plan. How has there been time to have public input on this repeal if public input is so important to our new mayor and new council members? This plan was developed over 3 years through community workshops and study sessions and based on input from residents, businesses, and civic organizations. Is there a replacement for this plan? I think it's safe to assume that a plan that took 3 years to create, years of citizen input, does not have a replacement in 2 weeks. If it does, it did not incorporate the citizen input this mayor and council told us they would restore with their election. Furthermore, if the council seeks to replace the plan, I would expect its creation to take no less than 3 years. To repeal such a thoughtfully created plan for our desert city with no replacement is wasteful, irresponsible, and frankly insulting to our citizens, businesses, and organizations that work so hard to create it. Please do not repeal our sustainability plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Next, Lee Crofttile.
Hi there. Congratulations on the first council of this year and everybody's election. My name is Lee Crofttile. My address is 7726 East Thomas Road. I'm not going to have much more to say than what everybody else has already said. I think that, number one, looking at this plan, if I had been on that board, I would have gone further. But we live in a democracy, and so I don't get to dictate how things work here. And I think the process over 3 years of input and revision and all the changes that have been made to this plan over that time reflects the will of the people who live in this city and work in this city and visit the city and all the people that will come forward in the future. It doesn't seem like an efficient use of city resources to throw away 3 years worth of work and then just start over again. As somebody else said, you have the power to make changes and you can continue the work of the previous commission. And I would urge you, if you feel there are things missing in this, to continue that. But everything I saw in this commission, in this plan, saves the city money because doing nothing is not free either. There is always going to be cost to action or inaction, and I want this council to keep that in mind when you do that. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Lee. I appreciate it. Saban, am I saying that right? No. Sorry.
Good evening.
Ms. Power.
Yes, Siobhan Ulrich Power. Thank you very much for your time tonight, everyone, as well as obviously Mayor and Council. So I was one of the many residents who participated in the ongoing workshops. I attended several of those, but I wanted to echo what everyone has said here tonight and add a few points. I just want to say that Scottsdale sustainability is not woke or a liberal issue. It's just smart for Scottsdale's future. It's about taking smart action, preserving the beauty of Scottsdale and the resilience of our families and my children, your children, their grandchildren, etc. Sustainability means to maintain, to make durable, to make lasting. So in the business and corporate setting, leaders regularly seek to achieve sustainable growth and strong ROI while delivering good customer satisfaction. So Scottsdale's sustainability plan is part of the city's roadmap to achieve strong, durable growth and development while balancing the diverse interests of our residents and businesses. so with the unique challenges of an urban desert setting. Also, businesses set goals, and that's exactly what this plan has. And everyone has echoed that they're not mandates, but if you want to do anything like lose weight, drink less, exercise more, you need to have goals. Otherwise, the year rolls around and you're setting the same resolution with 0 changes. So you need to have some numbers in there, some goals to achieve, and then we set about looking at the strategies and tactics to achieve those goals. Obviously, Scottsdale attracts people and businesses from around the world, and if we don't demonstrate that we have a plan crafted to meet the challenges of today and tomorrow, then we're going to be in trouble and start losing those visitors and residents. Skip that anyway. So far what I've seen, Scottsdale's playing catch up for other cities around the nation and around the world. And we, again, draw seasonal and full-time residents. So this sustainability plan is balanced, modest, attainable goals. They're smart and defensible, and echoing a lot of what other people said. So please do not repeal the plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Alexandra Craig, followed by Michael Craig, followed by Tom Whitney, Frederick Tack, Mark Rentz, and Helene Tack.
Good evening, Mayor Borowski and honorable council members. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here tonight. My name is Alexandra Craig. I live at 8588 East Indian School Road. I am here to ask you not to repeal the Scottsdale Community Sustainability Plan that was approved in December. The planet is struggling and will not be able to maintain the resources necessary to sustain life. 2024 was just officially recorded as the warmest year in history. I have lived a lot of places over the years, but Scottsdale has felt like my forever home. It is our responsibility to ensure a healthy environment for ourselves, our children, and future generations. My husband and I want to start a family here in Scottsdale, but I am too scared to bring a child into this world that is actively burning to the ground. Sustainability is not just some left-wing woke agenda, it is necessary. The people that are opposing this plan are afraid of this necessary change to conserve resources. True sustainability doesn't just focus on the environment, it factors in the social and economical components as well. That's what this sustainability plan does. It does not propose radical, restrictive change. It offers progressive, alternative solutions that are economically viable and will benefit the whole community. If this plan is repealed, then this city will have nothing to help us when the climate crisis comes for us. The opportunity cost will be detrimental. There are inevitable truths we all must face, whether we want to or not. Arizona is growing hotter and hotter each year. Our water resources are depleting. Our air quality is affecting the health of our residents. That is why these are the key categories of this sustainability plan. We need this plan, and I ask you not to repeal. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Michael Craig, followed by Tom Whitney and Frederick Tack.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Borowski and honorable council members. I ask you not to repeal the Scottsdale Community Sustainability Plan. This council's wish to do so feels personal. It feels personal because it affects my access to basic human resources, such as clean drinking water and clean air quality. This should not be a party versus party ideal, but a shared one. We are actively seeing climate hazards wreak havoc on our environment all over the world, and most recently to our neighboring state, California. LA has been burnt to the ground, and the East Coast was drowned by floods. These natural occurrences won't stop and certainly won't stop or bypass Scottsdale. The point of this plan is to create a healthy environment for us, mitigate climate risks, and prepare ourselves for inevitable and eventual disasters. Repealing is acting in the opposite direction of Scottsdale's interest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Tim Whitney, followed by Frederick Tack, and then Mark Rentz.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council, Mayor. It's really a pleasure to be here. Grateful after a day's work to be able to participate in government as well. It's just an honor and a privilege. Congratulations to all the new faces here as well as the old ones. My name is Tim Whitney. I've been a Scottsdale resident since 2007, where I went through the majority of my schooling, starting kindergarten. I am a proud alum of Arizona State University, W.P. Carey School of Business with a specialization in sustainability. ASU happens to be the first school of sustainability in the Western world, as well as the #1 school of sustainability some 10 times in a row, as well as global impact #1 and #1 innovation. There's some incredible professors there, including one that came up and spoke earlier. I'm a co-founder of Circular Earth. This is my second startup. We save businesses green by Green Initiative. We consult small coffee shops and we help them eke out margins through energy efficiency, water efficiency, and waste efficiency. I'm an Eagle Scout. It's my duty to be here as an Eagle Scout. Many times I put my hand up like this. Looks kind of goofy, but it means something. It means that I have a duty as a God of my country, a duty to speak up when I see something is wrong, to support things that I see is right, to pay my taxes, to be a diligent citizen, to do a good turn daily, and to leave no trace. It is in Boy Scouts that I fell in love with nature and that I found my purpose in life, to protect it, to serve it, to have it for my kids and for all of you to cherish. This 3 minutes is just a little bit that I can do. I commit a lot more time to this mission than what I'm leading on right here. I'm a frequent attendee of the Scottsdale Environmental Advisory Commission. I've seen the diligent work. I have seen these people come together from all sorts of corners of life and cherish their community through their work that they do. On that commission, I said this last time that I came up here and spoke, we have experts in medicine, professors, experts in finance, IT, nonprofit, and a couple more that I'm not mentioning right now. An example of one of the projects that happens through SEEK and is addressed in the sustainability plan, Dr. Iyengar worked with a research project to look at how waste could be more efficiently abated at local Scottsdale sites to save money. It's that Beyond Plastic guidance and handbook and cost calculator that I ended up transferring to one of my coffee shops the week after. That coffee shop now saves upwards of $1,000 a month due to the diligence of that study and it being passed on through this community. This is what the Scottsdale Sustainability Plan does. It empowers the people that care. We don't have to agree. We don't have to hold hands and cheer together. We can work together to empower people that know that they have a good heart, even if they may disagree. At the end of the day, we are all Americans and we're all here to fight for something better for all of us, now and for the future. Keep the Scottsdale Community Sustainability Plan and SEEK. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Frederick Tack.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Frederick Tack. I reside at 8401 East Edgemont Avenue in Scottsdale, as I have for the past 21 years. Thank you for providing space and welcoming us into your meeting tonight. Glad to speak on behalf of promoting, not repealing, the sustainability plan. I speak to you as a professional who works with municipalities, nonpartisan municipalities across the state, as a professional civil engineer, a board-certified water resource engineer, a certified sustainability professional, and also serving past president of the American Society of Civil Engineers Phoenix branch and National Societies of Professional Engineer. Similar to the fellow speakers today, I just wanted to share some other context and points, having participated in those public outreach sessions, both workshops on this plan, and having to share that I heard many contradictory opinions as this plan came together. And I have to say that those discussions were done with decorum and open face-to-face with their fellow citizens. And what I found the difference opinion was on what was important to them be in the plan, based on where they lived in North Scottsdale, based on where they lived in South Scottsdale, based on whether they were a business owner or were elderly and needed walkability. The thing about the sustainability plan is it actually reflects the craft and shape from all of that input and from the input from the staff and the third-party consultants that help put that together. So even more than just a sustainability plan, it is a livability plan. You can no more disregard that than you could your recently advertised top 5 Parks and Rec project plan that was put together, then your transportation plan, then your water resources plan. Again, it's not a map that tells you where you're at today. A plan tells you how to get to somewhere where you want to be. And that plan helps provide that context. What I hear is that there is dissent that the plan needs to be changed. So it's been out there for 42 days. I can't think of any investment that I've made as a professional or in a business that I've repealed after 42 days without any evidence. I have yet to hear any evidence of why this plan is so egregious that it does not meet the mandate of its mission or charter that was put forward and to get approved. I agree that a vote or an amendment to change the approach, to want to revisit and update the report is that right of the council and with the staff that you have to do that, but provide that opportunity to do that. Throwing out this plan 42 days in with no data would be like getting rid of the Parks and Rec plan that you just announced how wonderful that it is. Give the city and the citizens a chance to reflect on that, and please vote no on repealing the plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Frederick. Appreciate that. Mark Rentz, followed by Helene Tack, Carissa Fowler next, and Philip Alsop.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. My name is Mark Rentz, and for the record, I did submit written comments on this particular item. I would like to take this opportunity to reiterate once again that I am in strong opposition to the repealing of this plan. I find it kind of ludicrous that 3 hours ago, I stood across the way at the Performance Center and watched new members of the council and the mayor sworn in. And that 3 hours later, they are considering repealing a plan that was 3 years in the making. I also think that it is an insult to the citizens that were involved and your staff over that 3-year period where they conducted many workshops, public workshops. There were many city council hearings on it. They retained professionals, as the previous speaker alluded to provide expert advice in the development of this plan. Yet 42 days later, we're seeing a proposal to repeal this plan. Like any plan of complexity, the Scottsdale City Council needs to provide oversight and flexibility as the plan is implemented. They need to require their staff to report back on a regular basis as to what has been done for implementation, what has worked, what has not worked, and propose changes to the plan. It is a living document. Next of all, I would like to also say that reiterate what many people have already said. In this plan, there is nothing mandatory. There is no regulatory proposals. There's no fee proposals. So it is, in actuality, guidelines to incentivize and encourage voluntary performance in sustainability for Scottsdale. Let me close with one comment, if I can. Madam Mayor, today I had a chance to hear your speech, and I was quite impressed with it. And two points you made during that speech. resonated quite strong with me. The first one was your pride with which you talked about the Greenbelt project that was put in play instead of a concrete ditch. From my perspective, that, in tune with the Sonora Natural Preserve, is just a progression that this plan reflects of what the people of Scottsdale want. And finally, I think that another task force would be a waste of taxpayers' dollars, something that you strongly opposed in your speech today. So I encourage all council members and the mayor to please consider rejecting this proposal to repeal the plan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We have Helene Tack, Carissa Fowler, Philip Alsop, and Michael Lolito.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Helene Tack, and I'm a South Scottsdale resident for over 20 years. I'm also a sustainability professional. I work for the City of Tempe in their sustainability office. I'm here to ask Council not to repeal the Scottsdale Community Sustainability Plan. I was engaged with the process, attending the workshops as well as submitting written comment on the drafts as they went through. At its core, the plan addresses livability in Scottsdale. It presents a coordinated approach to the factors that are most pressing regarding livability in the city: energy, water, waste, air quality, and extreme heat. As a city that touts its livability, not having a sustainability plan that addresses how Scottsdale will adapt to these challenges and address the root causes speaks volumes. I find the vote to repeal the just adopted plan alarming, especially as it is one of the first acts of this new council. Seeing as the majority of the council is new and that this is 4 members' first council meeting, I am concerned on whether the council has taken the time to read the sustainability plan in depth and discuss it with city staff, with SEEK, and with businesses and residents. I do not see how it is in the best interest of the city to spend more time looking at this plan with a hand-picked task force. What would come out of that process? The plan has been through evaluation by SEEK, by the city's former sustainability director, and by Scottsdale community members. By repealing the plan, the City Council would send a loud message to businesses and residents that they are stalling to implement solutions to the city's most pressing problems. Why would a business want to invest in a city that is with an uncertain water supply, where workers are not protected from extreme heat, or their infrastructure is threatened by wildfires? Why would young families and seniors want to stay in a city with deteriorating livability? Other cities in the region are well beyond the planning stage and are actively implementing solutions. It is well past time that Scottsdale joins them and to move this plan into the implementation stage so that Scottsdale can be livable for decades to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Carissa Fowler.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here tonight to strongly oppose the repeal of the Community Sustainability Plan and the creation of this so-called Sustainability Task Force. I speak to you as a Scottsdale resident and a sustainability professional with a master's in sustainability from ASU. In your repeal, you want to establish a sustainability task force, which in theory sounds great if it was actually designed to implement the sustainability plan. Your repeal is vague and states that the task force will, and I quote, look at the sustainability plan. What does that mean? The Environmental Advisory Commission, ASU, sustainability professionals, and the Scottsdale community members have already spent over 3 years developing a comprehensive 121-page data-driven plan. The research is done, the strategies are in place. What exactly will this task force accomplish that hasn't already been addressed and mapped out in this plan? Repealing the plan disrespects the hard work of Scottsdale residents, ASU, experts, and the Environmental Advisory Commission. This is not just a document, it's a roadmap for combating extreme heat, drought, and rising energy costs. And you throw it all away for a hollow task force, which is irresponsible and reckless. Economically, repealing the plan is short-sighted. Scottsdale thrives on tourism, yet extreme heat will deter residents and harm local businesses. Tourists from cooler climates are not adaptable to our increasing heat, and without proactive measures, Scottsdale will contribute to heat-related deaths and driving visitors away for half the year. Can we economically survive that loss from the half year? Younger generations are choosing to live, work, and invest in cities that prioritize sustainability, and ignoring this trend risks losing both tourism revenue and long-term economic contributions of younger residents and entrepreneurs. Scottsdale's future depends on its ability to attract and retain these populations. Additionally, we must consider the financial consequences of climate inaction. In California, insurance companies are pulling coverage from cities that are vulnerable to climate disasters. Scottsdale could face similar risks, and without climate action, we could become uninsurable, devastating homeowners and businesses alike when, not if, the disaster hits Scottsdale. Let's not forget the financial benefits outlined in the sustainability plan. The strategy benefit column highlights numerous opportunities for municipal savings, and with the recent revenue hit from the rental tax ban, I think it'd make more sense to adopt measures that save the city money. By repealing this plan, you are rejecting more trees, cleaner air, electric vehicle infrastructure, recycling, and lower costs. The residents of Scottsdale deserve action, not empty gestures from uneducated politicians. We deserve clean air, affordable energy, and a city that is prepared for the very threats of climate change. Voting to repeal this is against my health, my safety, and my future of the city. I urge you to reject this repeal and the Hollow Task Force. Honor the work of the years that have been done. If you don't, you will be to blame for the impacts. Thank you.
Thank you for your input. Philip Alsop, Michael Melito, Michael Fiftis has donated his time to Alyssa McMahon. And so Alyssa, I guess, will take his place. And then we have Michelle Caporali. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Phil Alsop. I'm a 19-year resident of Scottsdale, living at 10933 East Saguaro Drive in Scottsdale. This sustainability plan is pretty close to home for me, not only because I'm a resident of this city, this wonderful city, but also my day job is at the intersection of the climate emergency, public health, human habitat, and sustainable finance. That's the work that I do, and I see this in Canada, I see it in the UK, and other parts of the world. Many speakers before me have already touched on some really important topics, so I'm not going to go over that again. But what I would say is that the sustainability plan is, in fact, a very important public health endeavor. Implementing it will make a huge difference. In the field of public health, which I'm very familiar, actions in a plan that will reduce heart disease, reduce asthma, increase safety, prevent people from dying of excess heat would be a medical miracle if it was a single intervention. But in the field of sustainability and the ability of painting a picture and implementing that for the future of a city, it is a thrilling and an attainable possibility. So I would urge you all not to repeal this plan. It is vital for the health of our city and for every resident here, every visitor here, and for future generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Michael Melito. Thanks.
Good evening, Mayor Borowski, council members. My name is Mike Melillo. It's Italian. And I will try and keep my comments brief because it's a long meeting and everyone wants to go home. But also because I sent you an email. Hopefully each of you have read it. I sent it yesterday. As noted in the email, I'm a 33-year resident of the city of Scottsdale, and I also had the honor of working for the city of Scottsdale for 16 years. I was the city's first transportation planner back in 1985. Then I was a project coordination manager during the city's rapid growth period of the 1990s. And I ended my career here as an environmental coordinator. And I was actually responsible, believe it or not, for putting together and coordinating a sustainability indicators project. And I actually coordinated with much of the other city staff in order to measure environmental, economic, and cultural indicators of the city's sustainability. So I'm kind of surprised that this is on the agenda, but I asked 5 questions in my email. Why is this coming back to the council so soon after approval? Who requested that it be brought back? I think I already know the answer to that question based on the votes to put it on the agenda tonight. Number 3, is there a hidden agenda that our residents are not informed about? Number 4, where is the transparency that our citizens voted for in the most recent election? And number 5, why did Lisa McNeely, the sustainability director, resign immediately after presenting the plan? I urge you to decide against repealing the plan. If you must reopen the plan and want to make modifications, I volunteer my services. I've already served 6 years on the city's Preserve Commission. I currently volunteer for the Historic Museum, and so I'd be happy to serve again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Melillo. Thank you. Michael Feiftis says Michelle Caparelli.
I'm short, I gotta lower it. All right. Michelle Caparelli, I'm speaking to you today, not as a sustainability professor or an environmental professional, but as a resident of whom you represent. Mayor and City Council members, thank you for taking the time to hear from me this evening. I'm here to request that you reconsider the repeal of the Scottsdale Sustainability Plan. Every day, I drive by a sign that calls Scottsdale Most Livable City. And removing that plan, you might as well remove that sign. As someone who attended the preliminary meetings, it feels as if the years of public comment are being ignored because of, frankly, personal politics. This is the time your constituents who you represent took out of their day to attend. Please take note these meetings had full rooms of people talking about these plans. Water scarcity and unrelenting heat are not concerned about who you voted for in the last election. As elected representatives, it is your job, your sworn duty, in fact, to support and represent constituents and not push a personal agenda. This plan has had ample time to hear from the public, including those of you that are newly elected. This gave you time to then repeal or to talk about all of these things during that public comment. However, I do find it a bit disheartening to repeal and then assemble a new task force, as this is an inefficient government, a platform that some of you ran on to remove. Yet, here is an inefficiency and an example of how most people view current politics. There is no reason to repeal the plan that Scottsdale residents supported, and it feels as an abuse of power to wait to voice concern until after you were elected. I'm imploring you to do better for Scottsdale and to keep the Scottsdale Sustainability Plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have, like I said, Michael Feiftis is donating time to Dr. Elisa McMahon. Thank you.
Can we turn the Elmo on? Thank you.
Can you do this in 4 minutes? Is that possible? Have
Yes.
you time? Okay.
Maybe
terrific.
even less.
Oh, good. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, welcome. Some of you I've known for a long time, and others I'm meeting for the first time. I'm Dr. Elisa McMahon. I'm a doctor, a longtime COGS member, a fiscal conservative, and a member of Scottsdale's Environmental Advisory Commission. There is so much I would like to share with you about the plan tonight. Particularly, I wish there was time to correct the many misconceptions and false information that has been disseminated about the plan. And I'm happy to have those conversations with you. But with my short time tonight, I will speak mostly about public health. Before I do that, first, one point that hasn't been made tonight that I think is important. This is a page from our general plan, 2035, and the implementation section, and the plan that was adopted in December fulfills 3 items on this to-do list, and I think that's an important thing to bear in mind. Completed and within the designated time frame. Okay, now on to public health. Okay. To my mind, well, let me back up. It seems to me that the plan has become a political football. And to my mind, the environment is not a partisan issue. If you strip away politically loaded labels, we all agree. We all care about the air we breathe, the sports fields our children play on, the impact of unrelenting heat. We all care about preserving our precious desert, our property values, our tourism industry. The environment is also not a cause. It's what we live in. It's our habitat. We talk about water and energy and so forth, but fundamentally, environmental issues are about us, our health, our safety, our comfort, our quality of life. I'd like to geek out just a moment and share a study with you, a study that looks at 2 of Scottsdale's critical concerns, extreme heat and air pollution. This was a retrospective study that analyzed statewide mortalities, deaths, over a 6-year period relative to temperature and air pollution. The study found 1, short-term exposure to extreme heat or high air pollution is associated with increased risk of death. 2, co-exposure to both extreme heat and high air pollution has a synergistic effect. In other words, an effect greater than the 2 added together. Specifically, the risk of death from all causes increased 6% on days with extreme high temperatures, 5% on days with high fine particulate matter, and 21% on days when both conditions exist. When the cause of death was isolated to cardiovascular or respiratory causes, increased co-exposure risk was even higher, 30% and 38% respectively. If health matters, if healthcare costs matter, if quality of life and life itself matters, then our environment matters. That is why I care deeply, why I volunteer to do this work, and why we need a sustainability plan to address these issues in a sensible, systematic, and fiscally responsible way. In my professional experience, ignoring problems consistently results in more expensive treatment and far less successful outcomes. Please do not repeal this plan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Patty Badnock. Is Patty still here? Followed by Kate Conway, Vanessa Goldberg, Linda Sullivan, Nancy Doty, and Bob Siegel, Dr. Robert Siegel. Seeger.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Patty Badnock, 40-year resident of Scottsdale. This is an amazing setup situation, Michael Crow kind of predominant situation where all these people have shown up in this response not to repeal sustainability. The language just passed as a foothold to further compromise our freedoms. It's not a mandate yet, but its intention, there's that word again, is all too clear. It's the new normal we'll have to endure as all of these 1,000+ apartments and condos come in play. Where's that in sustainability? Sustainability omits, after 3 years of study, the operative word is build out. Where's that word? And wanting to sustain our livelihood for the reason we moved here in the first place. It's about a developer's short-term profit at our expense. I could say more, but I'm going to curtail it. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. We appreciate it. Kate Conway.
Mayor, council, everyone, who largely are way more intelligent and qualified to speak than me. I'm Kate Conway, and my husband and I own a home in McDowell Mountain Ranch in Scottsdale. We've raised both our children here. They're now both college students, and today is my birthday. Before you all judge me, though, you should know that I try and avoid meetings. I despise public speaking. And I was hoping to spend this birthday in a much different way. And frankly, I'm a little salty about being here with this last-minute change. On January 14th, 1976, I died. And then I was born. Through an emergency C-section after Dr. Carolyn Coulomb, a pioneer OBGYN at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, could not find fetal heart tones. When delivered, my umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck twice. And my APGAR scores were 0 and 1. If you're not sure what that means, look it up. My mother, who spent her entire career as a NICU nurse, and who is also a devout Catholic, considers my life to be a miracle. She's always told me that God has a plan for me. I've come to believe that speaking my mind to you today is part of that plan. Repealing the Scottsdale Sustainability Plan, which provides a blueprint for how to maintain a healthy, thriving community and addresses water, waste management, energy efficiency, air quality, and extreme heat, is either extremely misguided or a malicious attempt to undermine the future of our city and the right of the citizens of Scottsdale to live a productive life here. When I was 21, my house burned to the ground. And last week, after the LA fires broke out, I packed a go bag to ensure that I have what I need if McDowell Mountain Ranch catches on fire. How can you not conserve and protect Scottsdale's water, especially at a time like this, when we haven't seen rain since August? When my son, who worked for Teen Corps through the city of Scottsdale, he was proud to support Dave Bennett and the professionals in Scottsdale's solid waste department. As a political science and mechanical engineering major now, he feels that developing a circular economy approach for materials management and effective citywide diversion of all waste streams just makes sense. I'm here to ask you to continue and implement the sustainability plan, which was developed with significant input from Scottsdale Environmental Advisory Commission, whose meetings I've actually attended, and whose members are more than qualified to offer sound advice to the city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kate Conway. If you'll hold your applause, thank you, Kate. We are glad you are here. Vanessa Goldberg.
My name is Vanessa Goldberg, and despite my German accent, I've been a Scottsdale citizen for over a quarter of a century. I find it quite remarkable and amazing that we citizens have to stand here and plead for the sustainability plan. All we need to do is look around the country and see what climate change has been wreaking on communities nationwide. We in Scottsdale are not immune to that. We are already suffering from consequences of this. And it has been described by so many in what ways it's impacting our lives, our economy, our very existence. To prevent an unbridled continuation of what would be getting worse and worse, Scottsdale has actually been forward-looking. Scottsdale has been proactive and for over 2 years has involved scientists, expert analysts, and citizens like me to create a vision of sustainability. Our voices were heard in the entire process. Our voices were heard last December when the City Council overwhelmingly passed the plan. Why would anyone knowingly refuse this vision, this carefully planned vision, which has no other purpose than to secure as safe and healthy a life for us in Scottsdale as possible? Another task force, as proposed, would be a waste of precious time and needed city funds. It would also fly in the face of the bipartisanship, science, and expert analysis that were the basis of it. It would be an insult and discouragement of the citizens who so passionately worked on it. We can only hope that any effort to repeal this carefully crafted plan is not motivated by some short-sighted political gain, but is actually based on insufficient knowledge of the plan. We, the citizens of Scottsdale, want and need the sustainability plan. And we invite you, the mayor, and you, the council people, to study it carefully and then to support it wholeheartedly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we move on to Nancy Doty. I think, was that Linda Sullivan? Linda Sullivan, I'm sorry, Nancy. Linda Sullivan is next. Apologies. Okay, Nancy. False alarm.
Good evening. Congratulations to our new mayor and city council. It's very nice to have you. I am Nancy Doty, and I live at 5461 North 78th Street in Scottsdale. And at the risk of taking my life and putting it out there, I am opposed to the sustainability plan as recently approved, as some of it is unreasonable. A couple of issues I'd like to bring up are that it puts suggested mandates on citizens requiring water rations on usage for single-family homes while giving a pass to businesses and apartments, and suggesting a 90% reduction in trash in the next 15 years, I feel is just totally unreasonable. So we need to look at some of those things, and thank you for your work in considering this.
Thank you very much, Nancy. Dr. Robert Seeger.
Good evening, Dr. Robert Sager, 50-year resident of Scottsdale. I'm looking up here and I'm congratulating Mayor Lisa and Jan and Adam and all the work that my wife Gloria and I put in, and all the others that got you elected. We're so happy to see you there.
Thank you.
I come from a different perspective than most of these liberal leftists that are up here, an army of them speaking. Speaking for this, I could gag, sustainability. Why not just have some common sense? These people, most of them that are here, did not vote for you people.
Can I interrupt you? If we could keep the comments on the agenda item, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, so what I'm saying is, I think we should have some common sense here and revisit this plan, cherry pick it for what's good of it, reject what isn't good. I don't have any idea how much it cost. I respect people that put in work and whatever, but you know, this side of the equation, a lot of times they just believe in theories and equations and don't get any place with it. So if it doesn't have any mandates, fines, or laws, why was it pushed through at the 11th hour by the lame ducks? I believe that the new board can have fresh eyes and look at it, and should have never been passed before. And there are other areas that money can be focused on, and one that I'm a real activist with, and that's the roads in our city. So many of them are in just terrible condition, third world conditions. I've been in over 135 countries. I've traveled extensively throughout the US, Mexico, and Canada. And I'm telling you, for a class city like Scottsdale is supposed to be, I cannot believe the condition of so many of our roads. And I want the city to put a committee on to focus on roads and drive money up on the budget so that we can have a real quick turnaround and make this a class city as far as the roads go. As far as apartments, that put a total break to the developers and their sharks, ACA lawyers, and also I would like to have a reevaluation like a Doge as far as the staff in the city. There's a lot of dead weight. And there's a lot of salaries that are
So we are
too
out of
much.
time, Dr. Sager. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I now turning to Lori Ryan.
Hi, Madam Mayor, and to City Council. I've never been to one of these meetings before, and shame on me. I'm a practicing physician anesthesiologist. For a living, I manage, the hours of boredom as they describe, and then moments of crisis. I've probably never come because my heart rate is sky high right now because I don't public speak. And I'm terribly uncomfortable right now. So I'm asking a few of you to also get uncomfortable for a moment. I have something in common with Ms. Conway who spoke. We have kind of a birthday connection to this subject matter. I was born on April 22nd. I'm old enough that it didn't used to be Earth Day, it used to be Arbor Day. But now I have an Earth Day birthday and my children refer to me as older than the Earth. So anyway, I don't want to reiterate that you got a lot of experts here, and Vice Mayor Graham, I have spent my life in the provision of care. That's what I do for a living. They've often connected my profession with that of pilots about not only providing care in safe, diligent format, but also responding to crisis appropriately to reduce the chance of an untoward event escalating. I believe that any of you that sought out to sit on this council also sought to provide care. It may not be a patient, may not be your customers, but it's to the community. And I don't only believe that you have sought out to provide care, but Mr. Graham, I believe the former providers of care on this council, your lame ducks, that I really find it unjust that they're referred to, probably had the same notion and the same motivations to serve the community. I'm not going to reiterate things that, there are experts here, I'm thrilled I came. There's people I'd really like to engage in areas that I am not an expert in. But I do believe that we do live in a bubble here in Scottsdale. I'm referred to as a working mother, as a professional physician. We're really fortunate in a lot of ways. But I was raised by a family that believed in the dedication to the community and service of the community. My father retired here. He spent 20 years volunteering for the Preserve, teaching and caring about our environment. I'm here because what I do in that delivery care is utilize information, data, and fact to help guide my best practices. And I also understand that the escalation of crisis comes when we fail to respond to realities at hand, no matter how uncomfortable. And those realities are occasionally uncomfortable and expensive. They force me to ask my fellow physician to stop a procedure underway, to inconvenience themselves, because I, with my experience and understanding, can recognize the crisis at hand. And my failure to do so, much like a pilot or much like a city council, to recognize the scenario we're in contributes to the escalation and more or less malpractice in their delivery of care. And I suppose all I'm asking for you to understand is that when we avoid appropriate response to the data and what we know to be true around us, what we don't have, no different than what I don't have, is time. And I'd like to thank everyone who contributed all of the work to come up with this plan. I guess I'm one of the leftists who believes my plan would have gone much further, because I think the facts, the data, and the science in front of us tells us we're not going far enough. I have 2 adult children. I have a grandchild. I live in a community that I was ecstatic was taking these measures to at least put a mission statement in hand.
Excuse me, the time has
Thank you for
passed,
hearing me out.
And I know you're passionate about this, and thank you for speaking to us today.
Thank you.
For the first time. Lee Kreifteil. He already spoke. Okay, Tammy, thank you, Vice Mayor. Tammy Bossi. She's not here. Oh.
Someone told me I've never used this thing. I'm not sure how it works.
Can you say in the microphone, please put on the
Please put on the elbow. My name's Tammy Bossi. I have lived in Scottsdale, not far from here, since 1992. What is that? Love it. It's a wonderful place. And this picture. I have been in tears since I saw that this was on the agenda. I cannot tell you how distraught I am. I'm sitting here listening to these amazing people. Thank you so much. As a former commissioner, I spent thousands of hours trying to help this city be a better place. So many of my fellow commissioners poured their heart and soul. I lost my sister. I lost my aunt. I lost my stepdad. During the last period of time where I've been serving Scottsdale, staying up late at night, I sent my comments in last night at 3 in the morning. I'm busy. I run 2 businesses. I am busy, but I care about this city, and I know you do too. I appreciate you all being willing to serve, and I thank you for the time here. I have so much to say, and I know we all want an amazing city that is well-run and beautiful and safe. But in order to do that, we must rely on a high-functioning ecosystem that is healthy and resilient so that we have the resources and necessary conditions to create this wonderful quality of life in our city. This is essential. It is essential that we nurture the core, the very foundation for our city vibrancy. And this plan takes cost-effective and common sense approaches to protect the very foundation of our city vibrancy. Hundreds of people spent so much time on this. This plan doesn't go far enough. It is time that we lean in and make this plan happen. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The cost of not doing this today is far, far greater than the cost of taking some very smart, prudent actions now to protect our citizens, to protect our quality of life, to protect our safety, to protect our economy, and everything that our magnificent ecosystem gives us. It provides everything we need to power our economy, our lives, to protect our children. And this picture is a family member who is fighting fires while his friend's house is burning down because we're not going far enough. We put our head in the sands. We are not going far enough to take action today to prevent bazillion dollars of expense and pain tomorrow. Will you be proud of your vote tonight? Will you lean in and let's roll up our sleeves and make these plans happen? And let's prevent tomorrow's pain for our children and our grandchildren. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy Bossy. I appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who spoke. That's the end of the speakers, as far as I know, the last one on the list. So there's a couple of names, 3 names here on my screen. Before I open it up to council debate, I think it's important to start with a couple of points. First off, this gentleman, let's see who it was. Oh, it was, yeah. Mr. Malillo, whose name I said incorrectly. You asked a question, you started with a couple of questions, one of which I think is important because I don't know, as your new mayor, I don't know how many people know how items get on the agenda. And I will share with you that you should know how it happens. 4 or more members, at least 4 members, I should say, must, if any one of the council members adds it to the agenda, there's a poll that takes place by Ben Lane, our city clerk, and he calls, starting with 3 council members, and if they all agree to add it to the agenda, then it is put as an added agenda item, having nothing to do, so it's not just the mayor, actually, it's not the mayor that sets the agenda, quite unfortunately. That is because I'd love to be able to just add things or not. For example, tonight's agenda item. In any event, I do enjoy the input from my council colleagues, and I hope we can embark on a smoother agendizing system that maybe has less political outcry, such as we see tonight. But notwithstanding, it was an important question that I think many people don't know the answer to. So to be clear, there are 2 ways to put items on the agenda. It is either through the city manager or one of the other 5 total charter officers. So that's 5 charter officers that can sponsor an item, and or the polling positive response from 4 council members. So I can tell you I voted to put this on the agenda because I think it needs to be discussed. If it wasn't tonight, it would have been another night. And ideally, I'll start by saying I think I agreed with every single speaker in the room, honestly. I may not agree with everything you said on your 3 minutes or so, but you all made good points, and I think they were all valid. And as you all saw, if you were there followed the last 10 months of the campaigns or the inauguration, it's #1 commitment, resident input, and along with that goes saving or preserving or rationally and conservatively watchdogging your tax dollars. So as I see this issue tonight, before I open it up for debate, and I hope my council colleagues will join me in trying to find a compromise here, I too agree that having the length of time and the number of citizens that served on this committee we should not be throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as that saying goes. I don't think that's the most prudent decision. I don't like the sustainability plan. I'm a lawyer. I've done litigation for 25 plus years. Anything that's 140 pages does not take action. I mean, you've all identified there's no action items. I think that's a problem. I don't think that's a reason to keep it. So onto another agenda item that is going to be interesting. Now we found out tonight that the acting city manager, effective today before this meeting, retired. Bill Murphy. So after 30 years here, Bill Murphy suddenly retired, but before he did, I had the opportunity to say, what's up with the sustainability plan? I mean, I know, are we doing that at City Hall? I know what I don't like. You know, I've heard a lot of tidbits from everybody. I know what I don't like about it. I've said it's 140 pages, there's no action items involved. A lot of people are bound to be disappointed when no one pays attention to it. So I think we can improve on that. According to the now retired acting city manager, our departments are very focused. They go to conferences all the time. They are focused on sustainability in their individual departments, I'm told. So I think a great way to approach this, we've now passed the subcommittee, the council subcommittee on community safety. I would really like the opportunity to have those appointed members, we haven't done that yet, go through carefully and identify where we can come up with action items out of these 140 pages. I'd like to see a 2 or 3 page document. I know it can be done. If we're looking to really do categories of things and take proactive measures, I think that can happen. So as we proceed with the debate, I would like to encourage you all to think about that. I'm sure you already have, but I would love to see this, respect the citizens' input. And I agree, I don't know what a new task force would do. I would probably rather see city staff work with the community safety subcommittee to scale this back, make it meaningful, and come to some sort of consensus. So with that, I will open this up to debate. Vice Mayor Graham.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor, and I appreciate those remarks. Scottsdale is second to none in citizen input, and we are so appreciative for all the citizens that come to us and speak to us and share their mind. It's the participation of Scottsdale citizens is unmatched, and it's something that I think we can all agree we're very impressed by. I also believe everybody supports sustainability. We all know that it's critical to our future. What's under discussion tonight is actually expanding the sustainability plan, which up until now has been limited to environmental issues. This item tonight is about including and broadening its topics so that the economy and environment work together to preserve our quality of life. Residents who studied the plan tell me they're disturbed by its contents when they learned that the prior city council majority voted to empower city government to begin enjoining a reduction in your household trash output by 90% within 15 years, restricting your electrical usage regardless of power source, restricting water usage for single-family homes while giving businesses and apartments a pass, outsourcing local control, your local control, to the agendas and politics of county and bigger government, redirecting your tax dollars to speculative environmental spending, and subjecting you to monitoring and auditing of your home and business. Residents have told us loudly and clearly and repeatedly that city government should stay in its own lane. Our lane doesn't include searching for ways to impose restrictions on your lifestyle, because our residents are smart and they don't need us to tell them the right thing to do. Residents pay a premium to live here, and they expect us to be sustainable. And I believe this council will respect that. So thank you again, and with those comments, Madam Mayor, I move to call the question to allow members to cast their votes.
Second.
The question having been called, I will take a vote. All those in, call the question.
Call the
What's the question?
That's the request.
Mayor, I would like to have the city attorney speak.
He can call the question, meaning someone makes the motion. So we all need to vote on the call of the question unless I'm wrong.
Well, did I miss the motion? Was there a motion?
I made a motion. I made a motion.
I missed the motion too.
Oh, I respectfully made a motion. I said I move to call the question in order to allow members to cast their votes freely.
Correct, but is there a motion to call the question on? That's my question. So can you make the motion and then call the question? Make the motion to call the question? But there needs to be an underlying motion.
To approve or deny the ordinance?
Right,
Okay.
whatever the motion is that you're
Okay.
ending debate on.
Thank you, Sherry. Well, then I will move to adopt Resolution 13335 and call the question. Thank you.
Just to be clear, are you seconding the
Second.
motion and the call of the question? Based on...
So we have two votes, if I point of order, yes.
Based on that, Vice Mayor Graham's request to call the question, you've heard the underlying motion. I will first entertain a vote on the call of the question, and we can do that now, followed by the motion if necessary. Well, it will be necessary. The motion to call the question passes with the majority, and now I will entertain the motion, which, just to clarify, Vice Mayor Graham, is to repeal. Can you articulate that, please, for me?
Madam Mayor, I was just keeping it, I was using an economy of words and concision to move to adopt Resolution 13335. Thank you.
Okay. So the resolution, as I understand, as it's written, is to repeal the sustainability plan and direct staff to put together a new task force.
Mayor, I would like to make an alternate motion.
Point of order, you can't.
Pursuant to the rules.
So this is an attempt to
Point of order.
This is an
Point of order,
attempt
out of order,
to
out of
prevent
order.
other
Point of order.
Out
of order.
Madam Parliamentarian, according to Rule 1120, once question is called, it's out of order to debate any further.
I understand, Councilmember Quasman. I'm well aware. So we will take a vote on the underlying motion, which Vice Mayor Graham has moved and Councilman Quasman has seconded. Please register your vote. The resolution passes, and we will move on to the next agenda item. Thank you for all of your input here today. We very much appreciate it.
May I speak? I can speak.
So while people are leaving, do we want to take a short?
Yeah, I would like to thank all the people who spoke. Thank you, Mayor.
Excuse me, Councilwoman.
Yeah, I would like to thank everybody here who spoke.
Point of order.
excuse me, if you would just, I know you're unhappy with the results, please just exit quietly. And we really do appreciate you being here. We really appreciate you being here. We're going to take a short recess.
I have never seen a city councilman try to prevent others from speaking.
With that, we'll invite Councilman Quasman back to the dais and get the meeting back in place. All right, turning to, we have, apologies. Okay, thank you. Calling the meeting back to order. We now move on to this is the time for a mayor and council item. Actually, we have agenda item 17 to go through because we took a vote to add that to the agenda. And so that was added to the regular agenda.
Yeah, Mayor, we have 14C and 14D.
Oh, sorry, did I skip those? Really? Whole page I skipped. Apology for that. Item 14C, moving right along, amending the rules of council procedure. And do we have a staff presentation? I don't think we do. This deals with rules of council procedure, section 5.11. And that was recently enacted, as far as I understand, to not allow council members to have their cell phone on the dais. So and this particular agenda item calls for a repeal of that section, and I don't think there's very much to talk about here. I'm in favor of repealing this because if you didn't elect adults to serve on your city council and as your mayor who can't be trusted with their cell phones, then we have a much bigger problem than cell phones on the dais. So with that, I will open it up for debate and take comments from Councilwoman McAllen.
Actually, Mayor, I was in the queue for earlier. I needed a clarification question. And this may be for the city attorney. The motion was made to repeal the sustainability plan, but we didn't add a motion for the task force. Oh, I didn't hear it as part of the motion, sorry. Okay, it's part of the ordinance. Okay, my apology, I just needed a clarification. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll open up agenda item 14C, amending the rules of council procedure, specifically 5.11. We do have a speaker, Lee Dial.
Hi again. Name's Lee Kofdial. Address is on file. I wanted to speak to the repeal of this and my confusion about why it's on there. The first thing I just want to point out was the rule is about sending and receiving messages back in electronic messages while on the dais, and then if there's some sort of emergency, the city staff will provide a device or something like that that family and loved ones and whoever can reach out to. This was proposed because there was, at the last council, this was passed 7-0, and it was proposed because there was obvious communication happening with members while city business was going on that was not transparent to the public. And so this rule was clarified to make that very clear that we were not going to, as a city, we're not going to allow that communication. And so as everybody up here has spoken about, transparency is important to this council. It is a promise that everybody on this council has said. And so I believe that we should keep this rule in effect. It hasn't impacted anyone that I'm aware of. Also, additionally, as you spoke, we want adults up here, and because we want our elected officials to respect the people here. And as stated previously, there was a problem with people using their electronic devices and not paying attention and not giving the respect to the people, to the citizens of Scottsdale while it was happening. Another thing that I noticed, or that I want to use as an anecdote, is while my coworkers who live in Scottsdale watched these meetings, without any prompting, they mentioned the fact that some members were constantly on their phone. It was very obvious to anybody watching that there was that behavior that was happening. And then finally, just to reiterate, if there's a concern about emergencies and needing to, the city already has a workaround for that to ensure that there is transparency, to ensure that the respect for the citizens is given, and to make sure that we don't have a repeat of that behavior. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Seeing no more public comment, council will open it for debate, and Councilwoman Whitehead.
So in government, public perception matters. So what we just witnessed really undermines public trust in the government. It's not about how you vote, it's about the reasons for your vote and the ability to debate, the ability to not be afraid of facts and the resident voices. This item was put on the agenda because rather than debating, we did have...
Pardon me, Councilwoman Whitehead.
I'm speaking to this item. This item...
Excuse me, if I may, there's been a point of order called, and I would, I've asked for debate on 14C. It's a very specific agenda
It is.
item, and I think there's plenty of time to issue comments about the last agenda item.
No, I'm speaking about this one now.
Okay,
Thank you, Mayor.
if you
Thank
will.
you, Mayor. Yeah, so we received many complaints. I've been on the city council for 6 years, and we received many complaints that a council member was communicating with other people and not listening to the speaker or to the debate that was going on up here on the dais. We have open meeting laws. We can't debate with each other offline. We have to do it in public. So in the end, it wasn't my idea that this new rule was put in place, and actually all 7 of us voted for it. And there hasn't been a problem with it. Nobody has complained. I will say that if you're going to break rules, you're going to break rules, whether this rule's in place or not. And I am very sympathetic to the mayor's comment about needing to have access to her phone in case there is an emergency. And staff did make some accommodations for that. So do I think this rule is absolutely critical? No. Do I think it's better to have it because it increases public trust and shows that we respect the public, that we're here to serve? Yes. But I just want to stress that all 7 of us voted for it, so I was surprised to see this on the agenda with very little notice, like pretty much everything else on the agenda. Thank you.
Councilwoman McKellen.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I do believe it's important, like our last speaker, Lee, who talked about transparency and that the public understands that we represent them, and that I do not think we should repeal this, but I do think that we should be acting in a transparent manner for our citizens. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, and I see no further comments, but just to clarify, Councilwoman Whitehead's comment, that wasn't my concern at all. My concern, as I stated, is that we're all adults up here, and we should be responsible for use of our devices. And so with that, I'll call for a motion, entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move that item 14C, amending the rules of council procedure, resolution 13336 is approved.
Okay. Second.
All those in favor, register your vote. Having passed, I now move on to agenda item 14D. However, I'm not sure what's happening with agenda item 14D. As I mentioned earlier, I was notified that the interim city manager retired, and we have Assistant City Manager Greg Caton now sitting here this evening as the acting interim city manager. Is this still an agenda item that we wish to continue to discuss? I would prefer to move this, given the change in circumstances. Actually, I'll just make a motion to continue this item until the next regular council meeting under the circumstances, so that we can all identify and find out what's going on with the situation.
Second. May I speak to my second?
Sure.
Actually, I'd like to make a friendly amendment to my second and request that we pull this discussion to the next meeting and make it an executive session.
Seconded.
I would prefer to leave it as is. We have a standing placeholder for recess into an executive session, and I don't think that's a necessary amendment. I think that complicates it more than I'm trying to do.
Thank you. I guess I agree. My second holds.
With that, I'll take a vote on continuing this. Let's see, we are at 14D. All those in favor, please register your vote. The motion passes to continue.
I'm sorry, I misread the motion. I want to say no.
She voted.
Having failed, we'll take the item as it is written, and that is replacement of the interim city manager, current appointed interim city manager, and discuss salary. Now would be the time to make your motion to recess into exec session.
No.
So seeing no motion accordingly, sorry. I'm covering up. So we'll just go ahead with the agenda item. Vice Mayor Graham.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The City Council is responsible for staffing our charter officer positions, and with the resignation of the prior city manager last month, the new City Council plans to initiate a search for a city manager, probably beginning in the next meeting. I want to comment real quickly that the city has been very fortunate to have 3 dedicated assistant city managers. After conversations with all 3 of them and feedback from colleagues, stakeholders, and others, we noted that interim city manager Bill Murphy appointed assistant city manager Greg Caton to the position of assistant city manager. We received the resignation of assistant city manager Bill Murphy today, which I would like to take a moment to thank Mr. Murphy for his decades of dedicated service to our city. And I also want to thank him for stepping in as interim city manager during the period of time between the retirement of the prior city manager and today. For those who don't know Mr. Caton, he has served as a city manager of Grand Junction, and he's also served as city manager of Oro Valley, which I believe has a similar profile attributes to Scottsdale. The prior city manager hired Mr. Caton in early 2024, and he has overseen several of our departments, including Scottsdale Water, our communications, and human resources. So I find myself in agreement with Mr. Murphy today, and when he, through administrative channels, appointed Greg Caton as interim city manager. And really my motion today is to, if you'll allow me, to move to appoint Mr. Caton or confirm that appointment by duly appointed, confirm it by council vote, effective today. And I think this motion adjusts Mr. Caton's compensation during his interim city manager appointment and based on his skills, knowledge, and experience to match our pay practices at 5% above the highest city charter officer at $335,000 per annum. I move to confirm Greg Caton as interim city manager for the time being.
Second.
Before we do that, I'd like to hear from staff. Is Assistant City Manager Greg Caton, are you the next in line pursuant to the organization chart?
Madam Mayor, thank you for that question. I do not believe that we have a next in line. I would probably defer that to maybe the city attorney. As the Vice Mayor referenced, there are 3 assistant city managers. One departed today, and there is one other and myself.
So, and did I understand, because this is the first I'm learning of this, Vice Mayor Graham to say that outgoing Assistant City Manager Bill Murphy appointed you as his replacement? Is that the case? Can I get some staff input?
Certainly.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to butt in. Sherry Scott, City Attorney. Mayor, a resolution was passed some time ago, resolution number 9774, that provides that the city manager shall designate in advance by written notice to the city council a qualified City of Scottsdale employee to serve as acting city manager in the event the city manager is unable to perform the duties of office. The outgoing city manager, Jim Thompson, designated Bill Murphy, and Bill Murphy earlier today in writing designated Greg Canton as the interim city manager in his absence. This council can
Thank you.
confirm
that was the
or
answer.
change.
With that, I will take a vote on Vice Mayor Graham's motion, which had a second, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
To confirm the outgoing Bill Murphy's appointment of Greg Caton. Please register your vote. Thank you. Do we have Vice Mayor Graham? Yes. Passing unanimously, we will move on to the next agenda item. Okay, 17, right, Ben?
16.
16. No, 17 was added to the regular agenda.
Yeah, Mayor, thank you, Mayor. We have item 15. We have the citizen petition for the council to consider, and then item 16 was on the agenda in a timely manner, so that will be considered tonight, as will item 17. Thank you, Mayor.
So, citizen petition has already been presented.
Correct, Mayor. You need to consider what action to take, and the actions are on the screen for you.
Oh, thank you. So I'll entertain a motion on the citizen's petition, please. Actually, I can make the motion. The citizen's petition, Mr. Sutton, if I recall his name. So I would like to make a motion to, direct the city manager to agendize the petition for further discussion.
I'll second that motion.
Seeing no request to speak, I'll take the vote on this item. All those in favor, register your vote, or not. Thank you. Unanimously passed to come back to council for discussion. Now, moving on to, did you say 16 is on the regular agenda?
Yeah, yes, Mayor. It was on the agenda in a timely manner, so
Okay,
you can vote on
gotcha.
it separately.
All right, item number 16 is initiate City Council review of the Development Review Board's September 12th, 2024 decision regarding DR case 46DR 2022, number 2, the Marshall Living Project. This item was added by Councilwoman Littlefield, and the council has three options in terms of making a motion. The three are direct the interim city manager or other charter officer to agendize the item for a future meeting, direct the interim city manager or responsible charter officer to investigate the matter and prepare a written response to the council, or take no action. Councilwoman Littlefield.
Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. I was addressed by a number of city citizens in the downtown area. This is Old Town. And it regards an issue that was put before DR. DR passed it 6-1. And the citizens are very concerned about this because it is for residential in Old Town. That has not happened before. They don't want it there. And it also has some very serious problems with the building that they want to do. And I have a list of them. I'll give a few here. It's a site that consists of about 9,000 square feet, and it's about 1/5 of an acre. And it has 12 DUs on 1/5 of an acre, which is the equivalent of about 60 housing units for an acre. And this is an area that does not have, at this time, residential, so it would make a major change in our zoning laws. Second is the substandard driveway for this is not ADA compliant, and it's a north and south parking. It would take the parking away from the current businesses that are here and make it even harder for those businesses to get parking for their patrons. It also does not meet the ordinance requirements for 24-foot maneuvering clearances of 90 degrees for parking. And finally, the last major issue, and there are some other ones, but the major one that I'm concerned with is this council several years ago very carefully decided that they did not want overhanging balconies on the walkways from the businesses. And this is an extension of the private balconies over the pedestrian walkways, and they're not granted by right, particularly in our Old Town. And council has the discretion to not allow taking public space above the walkways for private usage. City Council revised the Old Town Character Area Plan and Ordinance, which restricts those balconies in Old Town just a couple of years ago. So I think this has a number of other issues also. These are some of the things I've been looking at. I walked the area. I'm concerned about parking. The parking that's there is used by the current businesses. Where is the new parking going to be? How is that going to maneuver in there? And I think it's worth a council discussion. If we agree to do this as a council, we would be acting as a DR board, as opposed to a council, and we would be making DR decisions. So that's what I would like to put before us and have a vote on that if we would agendize this item for further discussion as a DR board. Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Second, okay.
Seeing no other requests to speak, I have a motion and a second. I'd like to, what was the motion? Was it to, can you put that back? To a future meeting, which must be 30 days from now, and the soonest being February 18th. All those in favor, please register your vote. And that unanimously passes. With that, we'll move on to item 17. Agendize a review of a possible scope change for the planned roundabout at Scottsdale Road and Dynamite. I will open that up to brief discussion, hopefully. Or are you going to do a motion?
I'm going to very briefly comment on it, and then I'm
Okay,
going to move to agendize it. The project at Dynamite in Scottsdale, Dynamite to Joe Max, vast majority of it is a great project. People that use that intersection, they don't like that intersection. It's uneven. It's old. It needs improvement. And, you know, it needs raised medians. It needs more visibility. It needs culverts. It needs evening. It needs a lot. And I spoke with, you know, we got a $30 million, give or take, a $30 million federal grant on this. Transportation staff said that money is not conditional on putting a roundabout in that intersection. There's a lot of details to it. I don't want to belabor it because we'll talk about it more when city staff brings it back to us. We do a lot of business with Hunter Contracting, and we hope to continue doing business with them. And so if they're listening tonight, just know that we are interested in talking about the terms of this. So thank you, Mayor. I will move to agendize that for a future meeting, if I can have a second.
Second.
Thank you. Seeing no other requests to speak, please register your vote. This item passes, and we will, with that, that's item 17.
I'll move to adjourn.
Yes, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second? Or can I second my own? No.
No, second.
You could. All those in favor? Absolutely. Thank you all for coming tonight. I know it's been a long meeting. Appreciate your time.